Good morning, and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Olani. It's a fine Thursday, and let's get to business. We'll be looking at two subjects today. First of all, let me just tell you that the guest that I'm going to be engaging first is Professor Christopher Imumole. Professor Christopher Imumole is the presidential candidate of the political party known as Accord. Not Accord Party, just Accord. It's a common enough mistake. As well, and I was corrected that it's Accord, not Accord Party. That's why it's the first on the ballot. A. The initial for the party is A. Professor Christopher Imumole, good morning to you. Thank you very much for coming on. Interesting. It is a political organization. It is a political party. However, its official nomenclature is Accord without party.
Yes, it is Accord. And, we have other parties that did not come with the name party. Some could come with Congress.
That's right.
Some could come with, we have like ABUJA and the rest of them.
Yes.
Come with Alliance, so it's just Accord.
So your party comes with, because we're still going to have to describe it as a party, we just shouldn't call it a party.
Yes,
when we're being officially correct.
Yes,
so,
right.
Professor Christopher Imumole is the presidential candidate of Accord. It's great to have you. The last time we tried this, there were technical difficulties because you were up country. Yeah. But we're happy that we have you in studio today, so you're very welcome.
Thank you.
It gives us an opportunity to, further interrogate the subject matter of that day that didn't work too well. That is really mainly, Accord the way it is now, doesn't really have any elected officer anywhere in the country, apart from those that have decamped to Accord. And should I use plural? Is it not just the one?
No, there are no. Actually, Accord Party have been feeding candidates.
You used the word party yourself just now,
Accord,
Prof.
Okay.
Prof,
Accord.
You used the word Accord Party.
Because even Nigerians are getting us. Most of the publications you see out there, you see Accord AP. It's not AP, it's A.
Not AP, it's A. Okay. So Accord, you were saying?
Yeah, so Accord has been feeding candidates in political offices. Like even in Lagos, we had Honorable Kakuare as Mushi.
Once upon a time.
Once upon a time. And we've been having Ladoja, governor in Oyo. Right. And now we've been receiving a lot of people who are seeing Accord as a party to actually to come in because of the peaceful nature and the potential we have for 2023. So we've been having a lot of House of Rep, House of Assembly. And if you look at the trail of gubernatorial candidates we have, believe me, many of them were past commissioners, in Lagos, we have Akim Dixon, who was the DG for Safety Commission. He was the local government councillor for Surulere. And he worked strongly with previous administration. Same with Port Harcourt, we have Lulu Briggs, who's a strong person. For Zamfara, we have, and we are looking at having a very tough competition for 2023.
What is it you think that attracts politicians to enroll in Accord? And a corollary question, of course, is what is it that Accord can bring to the table, especially in the presidential elections? And you're the candidate of that. So what exactly is it that you think Nigeria will benefit from, voting an Accord presidential candidate?
Okay, let's look at the party itself. The chairman of the party, Honorable Nalado, is from Castina. The secretary is Honorable Ajaja. She's from Ibadan. So you could see that even in the party leadership structure, there's already a federal system, meaning that right down from the party, we believe in not just having a party that has, we have some party who their women leader is a man. And so we believe in this. We believe in ensuring that we start with internal democracy. We've been able to demonstrate that. If you look at our primaries, it was peacefully done, and Accord Party is not one of those parties that is out there. I know there are internal issues. No party, everybody has little issues, but the ability to be able to resolve issues internally is one great achievement that Accord has achieved over time. And that is one of the major factors that have been attracting a lot of the campees, not just because it's easier to pick a ticket, as many would think, but because it's a party that you can actually get, you can work and actually get rewarded for the hard work you've put in to the party. It's very, very critical.
And then, no doubt, you must have a vision as well for the country, because and it depends on how you look at it. If you're just listening to the commentary out there, people are saying that, people are tired of the existing parties. The youth especially, they are said to be, quote unquote, tired of the existing party. And I don't know if you of existing parties and are looking for an alternative. If that theory is true, do you think Accord might just be that alternative?
Yes. Okay. Let's look at the demography of youth. I know many persons don't want to agree that once you are above 42, let's extend it to 45 in Nigeria, you are no more a youth by definition. But some people say no, because, but that is it. So if you look at that, then that tells you that the only party that is feeding a youth as a president is Accord.
Okay.
And I am the only youth as a presidential candidate. I'm 39.
Okay.
And I am the only youth as a presidential candidate. Let's leave out whatsoever sentiment. I am the only youth. So Accord, as a party, has been able to demonstrate that yielding of Nigerian youth who have been clamoring for a young Nigeria. Haven't looked at their antecedents, those who have built Nigeria. People like Awolowo, they were in their early 30s. Shehu Shagari, MKO, and the rest of them, they developed this country.
No,
when they were,
MKO
sorry, not MKO, not MKO. I'm talking about our founding fathers, those who fought for independence. Tony Nauro was 27, and the rest of them, they were youth when they. So, having looked at that, Accord said to themselves, we need to yield to this cry. And here we are now, having a youth as a presidential candidate. And our plan for the nation is very critical. We have been able to, like every other Nigeria, look at the problems that we need to solve urgently.
Okay.
And how then do we tackle them critically and empirically? These are problems. And I want to say this. Those who had actually led Nigerians have done their best. I'm not one politicians that come on here and start castigating. They've done their best. But the problem here is that many of them are no longer in tune with the reality on ground. Even in an organization, when you run your organization for 20 years, you need fresh ideas. Every organization, at the time in every organization, you discover that you are doing the same thing, yet you are not getting results. It happens to companies like Nokia. Nokia said they were doing the same thing, yet they were not getting results. You know why? Because they were running out of ideas. So when you get to that point, you need to look at bringing new, fresh ideas. That is how we must tackle Nigeria.
Do you acknowledge the place of experience as well?
Okay, experience, progressive experience. Let's use that word, progressive experience. What has this experience that we called, like these people who have been for 2 years, experience when you are too long. Yeah, experience is very needed as wisdom to guide. But those who should be at the frontiers of making development happen should be the young ones, who also have succeeded in their personal endeavor. We might be coming from various fields, but let us look at what have we done. For example, we need to check what we also have done as young Nigerians, what we have done by making sure that Nigerians is also placed back in the map of the world. We have done things also. So that experience is what we need, progressive experience. Progressive experience that will bring Nigeria back into the map of progressive nation. Progressive experience that will ensure that we build a digital economy. It's a very big issue. Nigeria needs to start running digital. We still run analog in a digital age.
And do you think the older presidential candidates, 60s, 70s, do you think they're like a fish out of water when it comes to the area you're speaking about now, the new world, the digital age?
Yes. How many of these age ones can you see talking about blockchain technology? How many of them can you see talking about robotics and artificial intelligence? How many of them understand satellites? We only have just 2 satellites. And even the 2, one is expired already. There are countries that have over 4,000 satellites. How do we combat security when we are not when we are not investing hugely in technology?
Will it benefit us? Because this point, I don't want to spend too long, but this point, because it's not really as if Nigeria can be seen as a digitally savvy nation, because the bulk of the people in the rural areas even don't have internet connectivity. Not that I'm saying that internet is the only aspect of this new digital age.
Okay, let me just tell you this. Maybe Nigeria's youth are digitally savvy.
Of course.
Let's check out.
Yes.
In Africa, talk to companies like Facebook. The largest users of apps like Facebook, social media, are Nigerians in Africa.
I agree.
Once you start looking at West Indians, countries that have built billionaires from digital technology, then you talk about Nigeria. Look at our fintech springing up. We have a fintech company, which I don't want to start mentioning name here, that have crossed the 1 billion benchmark. Nigeria, the first in Africa. Nigerians are digitally serviced, especially the young ones, and they have done that from their personal effort.
But you're going to need critical mass. And do you feel that because I agree entirely with you that the Nigerian youth are indeed what you say they are, especially when it comes to internet. But I don't know if you consider that they are in the numbers required. In the urban centers, Port Harcourt, Lagos, Kano, no doubt. But going into the hinterland where the numbers really are, or is that a misconception to think that's where the numbers are?
It is. Once, even in the rural communities today, you speak to your mom and in the village, you speak to villagers now. Many of them now have the information of technology. You can see on Facebook, people now chat on Hausas, they now speak Igbos.
That's right.
It's happening, it's growing. We shouldn't just sit there and assume that nothing is happening in the rural community.
Okay.
There is, except there's no internet. Once there's internet service, believe me, naturally, the rural community are beginning to, yes, they are getting that information. And let me tell you, some information in the city, some of our people in the rural area even tell us before we know in the city. They say, oh, they say something is happening in Mushi, something is happening in Port Harcourt. How do they get those information?
Exactly.
It's because they are also, it's a pointer to telling us what is already happening. I think what we need as a country is that motivation, is that support from government. Government, for me, should not be in the business of doing business. Should be in the business of creating an enabling environment for those who want to do the business.
This is going to be connected, I'm guessing, Prof, to the question that I want to ask now, which is what, according to the Accord Manifesto, is your view of and solutions you can bring to the Nigerian economy?
Key, those who run the economy is very important. Those who run the economy. You know, we need to start putting the right peg in the right hole. You know, the way other political parties, or some of them have tried, appoint is, to me, it's not proper. We need to start looking at ministers and appointees as critical, selections to solving Nigerian problem. One of the very first thing we are going to do is to select credible team to run this country. And that is very, very important. Those that run the affairs of this nation. One, they must have the competence, they must have the key knowledge, and they must have the value to running their affairs. Look at the educational system. I don't want to go there. Why would our children still remain at home after 4 or 5 months? To me, it's a question of value. You know, we need to start having people who have value, who have interest, who have their children, who have their investment in the same sector they govern. And so it's very important.
And speaking about round pegs in round holes, not the other way around, square pegs in round holes, which is a misfit. Putting the right people in key positions. Look at the situation we have on our hands today, for instance, Prof. Fuel situation. Look at the queues all over the country. Look at the stress that is being brought to the. Is that do you have any commentary on what is happening now? And did you feel that had Accord been in charge, this wouldn't have happened?
It would never happen. We are blessed with crude oil, and yet we lack the product ourselves. We have refinery in Warri, we have refinery in LMA, petrochemical, we have refineries about in Kaduna. How many of those refineries is working up to 10% optimum? None of them.
What would Accord do about it?
We're going to revamp. We have over 56,000 abandoned projects in Nigeria. And we have hundreds of thousands of abandoned projects that are underperforming. They need to be revamped. If we must run a productive economy, we must look at what is left of us. We must start building again. Ajakuta still is there. We need to do these things and make sure that they get working. We cannot build a country by expecting that everything we need to consume here is brought from the outside. That is the problem. So there will always be shortage because of logistics and every other thing. And a lot of things. So we must fix what we have. The petrol we need to have. For example, there was a time I worked closely as a consultant with the Ministry of Petroleum. And I said there's a need to encourage modular refinery. There's a need to encourage small-scale refinery projects that will be monitored, that will be... So there's a need for capital. Look, how many... We were in Louisiana at the time, and we said we wanted to set up an oil and gas outfit there. And we asked the mayor of Louisiana, said, how do we get the capacity, those that will run the oil and gas? He said the University of Louisiana will produce. And I was like, wow, look at how many Nigerians understand reservoir simulation. How many Nigerians understand offshore engineering? I mean, so the capacity development also. Our investment in education is key. Today, our budget is less than 6%. That is below the UNESCO benchmark for education. We need to start funding to ensure that Nigeria, that is our biggest resources. The people.
Education, especially.
Yes, very key.
Good morning to you, sir. Mohammed calling in from Abuja.
Yes, sir. Mr. Yori, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much for bringing Professor on TV today. I listened to him yesterday on channel via Politics Today with Shewan. I was so amazed with this young man, CV. He is a great man that Nigeria ever produced. He's a great man at this age, 39, 39 to 40. Yeah?
39.
39 to 40. This man owned about how many universities in the world? Not only in Nigeria. He owned many things. His name is in the fame of in England at this age. Haba. Nigeria, we are blessed. We are blessed with human resources. We are blessed with people with entrepreneurship or whatever. We are blessed with everything. But please, I'm just begging him. He's just starting now. Let him allow Tinubu to do his first time or second time. Then later we will now vote for him. Definitely, Nigeria needs somebody like this. Nigeria needs somebody like this to make Nigeria great. But please,
Mr.
let him
Mohammed.
allow Tinubu to do his time now. Please.
Thank you very much, Mr.
That is my
Mohammed.
appeal to him, yes.
Thank you.
Because Tinubu has invested for many years. Please, please let him allow Tinubu to do now.
All right.
Yes,
well, did you have anything you wanted to say?
Yeah. You know, for me, I'm going to run. I told myself I was going to run a positive campaign.
Okay.
It's not a war. You know, why must politicians war themselves because we want to develop Nigeria?
So you are determined to continue on your quest. You're going to be, even in the face of Mr. Mohammed's advice.
No, of course.
Okay.
Our intention is to fix this country.
I wish I had a lot more time than I do have with you. So I'm going to just be jumping in. Security is a main concern. Without that, you can't do anything. Yeah. People have been very, very critical, not just of this administration, but also the one before it, in terms of security. What will Accord bring to the party, so to speak, in that area?
Okay, I'm going to start. What is our investment in technology when it comes to managing security? You can't fight security without technology. I mentioned that as a country, we had failed to even manage our satellites. How do we monitor? See, in other countries, government monitor the people. In Nigeria, it's only God that watches us. It's a critical thing. So we must. See, in security, you must be able to gather intelligence to avoid crime from happening.
Okay, hold this thought, please. You can return to it because ADAH has just called in from Jos, and I don't want to lose the call. So just hold your thought. You might need to return to it. Good morning, ADAH in Jos.
Yes, they're calling from Jos, Plateau State. Good morning to your guest there. In fact, I watched him on channels yesterday. I was amazed, honestly speaking, all those things he was talking about. He should sell himself better. This is my first time to meet him. Well, let me just tell you the truth. He should sell himself better. Then the last caller saying, let him wait for it. Is he stopping anybody? He's not stopping anybody. So it's ridiculous. That is why we have a problem in Nigeria. People will be telling you, don't stop, allow the person to do 2 years after the person wants to do 16 years, you know? So that's not the issue, you know? But let him sell himself well, that's all. You see, the problem we're having is this. When money bags hijack parties and all the machineries and people, you know, buy delegates, do this and that, what happens? At the end of the day, they now have to compensate. I hope you are following what I'm saying. They have to compensate people who really did a lot of things for them during the campaign. And those people, they compensate them without taking into cognizance whether they are competent or not. That is why we are having problems. So we have to move. If you ask me, both the PDP, before I was singing a different song, but now they play and I said I left the station. I'm no longer interested with all the developments that I've read in the papers. If you left for me, PDP, APC, I don't even want any of them again. Let it be these younger parties. But then I would have wished your candidate, this particular one, now let him, if he's not able to sell himself very well, let him find a way of supporting another party that is making waves. Now we need a stingy president, as far as I'm concerned, stingy.
Thank you.
God bless you. Let's not give up on this country.
Thank you.
Thank you, ADAH, for calling in. ADAH's suggesting there that maybe you've been underselling yourself. Mohammed before her said he was amazed that when he saw you on another station. ADAH has said pretty much the same thing. Resources, because that's another key aspect to this whole thing. I don't know, Accord and your particular organization, the campaign organization, I don't know, might not have millions of dollars to spend on that particular endeavor. But talk to me about how apprehensive are you or concerned are you about the humongous sums of money we are hearing it takes to do what you want to do?
Okay, quickly, I don't know if I should, let me quickly address this. One, I'm a young Nigerian, and by the grace of God, at least the logistics needed to move through this election, logistics is not, is there.
Okay.
And by the virtue of what God has done for us, and by the virtue of the fact that we knew that a day would come where we'll be presented for this purpose. Of course, we know that politicking in Nigeria requires huge funding, especially because of the kind of people you are also competing against.
Do you have that huge funding?
But the truth is this, the logistics require to move from one place to another, to mobilize people, to advertise, which is, of course, what you should be preparing for. You shouldn't be planning for paying people money. That is where, no, we don't have such plans.
Okay.
We believe that in 2023, the politicking in Nigeria would be different. Nigerians are speaking, and Nigerians will speak in 2023.
Okay, one moment, please. Let me bring in Reverend Dominic. Good morning to you, Reverend.
Good morning, Yori. Good morning to your guest.
Yes.
Can you hear me, Yori?
Yes, we can hear you. Thank you very much.
I understand your guest is a professor, which means he's a very learned man. Yori,
Professor Christopher Imumole.
Yori, he knows better than me. In solving problem, you first of all size up the problem, understand the magnitude of that problem, so you know how to solve that problem. I don't believe most of these young presidential candidates understood the magnitude of the challenge we have in Nigeria. If they do, knowing that we have a big nation, whether you like it or not, Nigeria is a big democracy, 200 million people, and with this land mass, for you to comprehend what you're going to do as a nation, you must put your house together. If you ask me, every one of them want to be a president. But what happened last month, if you can hear me, in Ekiti, is a testful test to everybody. I didn't see any one of these presidential candidates in Ekiti lifting up.
It's getting better. I think it will even get a little bit better for the way we can hear you. But please continue. Sorry. I'm sure it's going to get better. Continue, please.
What I'm trying to say, Yori, this presidential candidate, they didn't understand the amount of challenge we have. Can I go on?
Yeah, please continue.
Okay. If they understand the kind of amount of challenge we have, they'll put your house in order. My brother there cannot win an election in Nigeria. That's the gospel truth. Not because he's not qualified as a person, but because of the magnitude of the issue. If I were them who want to salvage Nigeria, they could go to Obi and himself and this young one come to put their head together to see how to salvage Nigeria, because he cannot do it. Obi will not do it alone. The many of them, they must put their head together. For APC to dislodge PDP, there was a merger of two kind of people from the north and the west. And if that merger did not take place, Buhari will not be president. For them to dislodge these big parties, their young presidential candidates must come together and put one front and campaign well.
Okay, okay, Reverend Dominic, thank you very much. What do you think of that particular idea? Can you go it alone, or might there be a strategic need to combine with like-minded?
Yes. You cannot win politics in Nigeria alone. You have to. That is why we are talking. That is why. So you have to collaborate with groups. You have to collaborate with Nigerians that have the same ideology as you do. Groups in various parts. And let me say this. Up until now, we had over 70-something political parties. And before we now have 19 political parties. What happened to your other political parties? Don't be surprised that there have been a merger of the registered political parties. Yes, you might say, oh, who are they? They have structures. You'll be surprised that there could be the biggest merger unannounced. It's a strategy too.
Okay.
So one of the biggest strategies is also to look weak, because you have 8 months to election. This is the longest campaign ever since 1999. 8 months. So it's not a time for you to start shouting. You must keep yourself, understand your strategy to win. It's like a war.
But you want to put yourself out there, though.
Yeah, of course.
And one of the key aspects of advertising is the consistency of message. Consistency, not letting too much space in between the messages,
right.
So that, as ADAH and Mohammed before her had said, they want to hear a lot more about you. Prof, I've run out of time, but please, your closing remarks, because I know we're going to do this again. We'll hear more about you.
So quickly, I want Nigeria to begin to look that we have a huge challenge ahead of us. And for us to solve this challenge, we must collectively come together to have new bids of leadership. We cannot continue this way. There's no day in Nigeria that we don't lose lives. In the north, in the west. Nigeria for me is like a polygamous union of 6 wives. Whatever you do to one, you must do to the other, because the total satisfaction of one can lead to the total dissatisfaction of one. So we need a leader who is a neutral person, who will carry and ensure that there is peace. And what we need most is national integration.
Indeed.
Once we are able to harmonize Nigeria together, believe me, the whole world would envy this country. And that is what we want to do.
Thank you very much, Professor Christopher Imumole, presidential candidate of Accord. And we also learned that it is not Accord Party. It is just Accord is the party of Professor Christopher Imumole. Thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you.
Hope to hear from you more in the close future.